welcome to a new trip report here on Bongoplanes. We are in Munich and we are on our way to Geneva. If you wonder why it's so quiet here at this second largest airport of Germany, well, that is because Lufthansa has decided to go on strike, at least the pilots of Lufthansa. So I was supposed to fly today from Munich to Geneva via Zurich. The first flight would have been with Lufthansa LH2368, departure time at 11:30, then arrival in Zurich at 12:25, and then from Zurich with LX2806 from Zurich at 13:05, and then the arrival in Geneva at 1:55. Now, as the first flight is with Lufthansa, that is not gonna happen, so I have been rebooked. I will give you more details what that means as soon as we have passed the security check, and then I will be on my way to the lounge because we do still have some time before my departure on my new flight as I've been rebooked. But yeah, as I said, a bit more on that later, just after the security checks. Alright, so we are through the security check. That went very smoothly and very quickly. Of course, there aren't that many people, if you can see here. A lot of planes have been cancelled today, and that explains why it is so quiet. Now, as I mentioned, there is still some time before boarding starts, so I'm on my way to the lounge, but let's quickly take a look at the flight details. So I was supposed to fly with Swiss and Lufthansa via Zurich. Now I'm flying directly with Swiss to Geneva from Munich with LX1123. Our gate is G46. It was supposed to be K12, but they've changed that. Boarding time is 11:10, departure time 11:40, seat will be 9F, and I actually don't know our aircraft type. Normally they would fly an Airbus A319 on this route. Honestly, I would suspect Swiss to have changed to a bigger aircraft, because I would imagine that there are more people that have been rebooked on a direct flight to Geneva, but I will see once we get there. Now, we are almost at the lounge. I will take a peek inside, probably not too busy, but let's see, and then hopefully I can film a little bit to show you how that looks here in Munich. So we are on our way into the lounge. We have to go upstairs in Munich to do that. This is of course one of the bigger lounges that Lufthansa has, of course, at their secondary hub here in Europe and also in the world, of course. And yeah, now we're upstairs. It's alright, it's normally very busy today, a lot of seats empty. They kind of have created this beer garden area, whatever you want to call it. It's quite nice. They have, of course, Bavarian specialities and beers, which is obviously nice, but I think it's a bit early for me for that. So I will rest a bit and see you in a bit. Oh man, look at all these cancelled flights. Well, can't change it. We are lucky we got rebooked. Gate hasn't changed, and it is time for us to go there now. I think I will speed up this process and then see you once we are at the gate. Yeah, just if you wonder, I don't really want to comment on the strike itself, whether I think it's right or wrong. I've done quite an analysis of the whole situation in a different video. If you are interested in that, you can just click the card here in the top right, where I kind of voice my thoughts on this topic. I think it's very complicated, and it would not be something I would feel comfortable in just talking about in 30 seconds and that's it, because it is, as I said, more complicated than just a 30-second comment. So we are almost there. You can actually see our aircraft out there. It's an Airbus, that's for sure. I still don't know if it's a 19 or 20, but I will let you know a bit later. Man, this is a long walk. The Terminal 2 in Munich is quite long, and we are almost at the furthest end that you can actually go to. Boarding should start very soon. It doesn't seem too busy at this departure either, which is maybe a bit surprising, but okay. Well, I will stop here and then talk to you on the plane. And welcome on board. Now, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I am actually surprised by the lack of people in this aircraft. I would have expected Swiss to at least use an Airbus A320. They're still flying an A319, which is the normal aircraft to fly with on this route for Swiss, but I would have thought that there would be a lot of rebookings on all sorts of flights from Munich. But I guess most people have simply decided that, well, Lufthansa is striking, let's just move completely our flights or just cancel them completely instead of trying to be rebooked to other airlines. So yeah, I guess that's the reason why there aren't that many people. As you can see, we are already in the pushback. Boarding went very smoothly, nothing really nothing really exceptional happening there. All in all, it's been actually quite a nice experience so far because, again, there aren't that many people, although it's very strange to see this quite big airport and so little activity. I mean, I've traveled from this airport quite a lot, so I know how it is when it's busy. It's an excellent airport because even when it's busy, things really work smoothly. But to see the airport that empty, it's not very often. I've seen it a few times, also with strikes, but yeah, it's always a bit strange to see. Anyway, I will speed up this process of the taxiing. I guess we will talk again then after we've departed and are getting closer to Geneva, and then we can assess the flight. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on flight LX1123 from Munich to Geneva. We are still in our seat 9F. Currently inbound towards Geneva. We are looking over the Jura Mountains, and you can see that it is overcast, grey, Not very pleasant outside, but luckily we are still inside and can enjoy the nice climate of an aircraft or pressurized cabin. Anyways, how was the flight so far? Well, not too bad actually. It's been a nice and quiet flight. That's something I very much like. I don't like when there's too much going on, because when I'm on a flight I just want to relax. Now, when we left Munich, we were taking off from runway 08 right. Then we were flying a little bit towards east before we then did a couple of right turns past actually Munich airport on our right side, and then we've basically just followed the Alps towards Geneva, and now we will be coming in on runway 23. If we take a quick look at how the comfort is here, you can see just about the width of my hand. That's the access space I have between my knee and the seat in front of me, which for a European flight is very decent, I think. The food was quite alright. I mean, we had a cheese sandwich which tasted quite alright, and I had 2 drinks, a glass of water and some orange juice. I really only have one thing to complain about in this case. The service in general on board was perfectly fine from the flight attendants, but there was one thing that I kind of noticed. Now, normally, if they serve these sandwiches, you have a choice between 2 types of sandwiches, something with meat or a cheese sandwich. I think today it was a chicken sandwich or a cheese sandwich. Now, I was given a cheese sandwich, but I was not given the choice. Now, the flight attendant simply just took whatever sandwich she grabbed first, and that was what she handed out. She never asked the passengers what they wanted. That was not just the case for me, but pretty much everyone in the cabin that was served by this flight attendant. This is, of course, not a huge catastrophe, but it's just something I noticed, and something that normally doesn't happen on a Swiss flight. Today it did, for whatever reason. Again, as I said, it's not a major thing, but it is something that I noticed. Anyway, we are on our way into Geneva now. I will speed this up a little bit, and then we can assess the landing, and then have a few words before or after I get into the terminal, and then I will give my total and final score for this flight. Well, not the smoothest landing I've ever experienced, certainly not, but it's wintry conditions. I guess that can be an excuse. Anyway, welcome to Geneva. Welcome indeed, and we have now, of course, a few possibilities. I think the most likely thing to happen would probably be to go directly to the gate. Most of the times they do that at the terminal with an gateway or whatever you call these things. Of course, there is also sometimes the chance in Geneva that you get an apron position, although not as often as with other airports. We don't know exactly what will happen for now, but I think it will just speed up the taxiing again, and then we'll talk as soon as we know what's gonna happen, or once we are inside the terminal. Let's see. And we're off. As you can see, we were lucky enough to get a gate directly at the terminal building, which we also on our way into. Geneva Airport, a very nice airport to arrive at because it's very quick to get out of it. But one thing that is good to know about Geneva Airport, now if you are traveling with luggage, now I have only hand luggage with me, but if you have checked-in luggage that you pick up and you want to have one of these trolleys then when you pick it up, in most airports you would just get one. In Geneva you actually have to put in a coin. I have never seen that anywhere else in the world, only in Geneva. I'm not surprised that it's like this in Geneva, because Geneva is a very peculiar city and everything is costing a lot of money. But anyway, as I said, you get the money back, but you need to have I think it's a 1 franc coin, and it's not always that you have that when you go to a new country. But anyway, that's how it works here in Geneva. Now, Geneva is obviously a very expensive city, but there's actually one good thing here at the airport, and I don't think very many people know that, but if you ever arrive at Geneva, just before you leave the security area where you pick up your luggage, you can actually get tickets for the public transport. Now, you can buy those, but you can actually also get a ticket for free for 1 hour public transport within Geneva, which is more than enough when you come from the airport and need to go to a hotel, for example, in the inner city. 1 hour is more than enough for that, and you can go there completely for free. Now, if that is not something for you and you want to have a taxi, you can get that at Geneva Airport as at any other airport. But one thing is, I mean, in most civilized countries, you would be able to pay your taxi with a credit card. In Geneva, the taxi drivers are not that keen on taking a credit card. Most of them would just flat out deny that. So you can either wait for like 50 taxis to pass you by before one is saying, okay, let's get on board, or you need to withdraw some money. That is Geneva for you. It's a nice city, but it has some, there are a few things that are a bit strange, at least to me. Anyway, it's been a pleasure traveling with you, and I would like to thank you very much for joining me. It's been a bit of a different ride today, as I said earlier. Today I was supposed to fly via Zurich, and that didn't happen due to the strike. It is a complicated matter, and I still don't want to make a comment on it as such. But I have made a video where I talk about this whole fight that is going on within the Lufthansa group, and if you are interested in listening to that, feel free to check it out. There is the card on the right, and I will also leave the link in the description below to it, and check it out. Leave your thoughts on the topic. I think it's something worth discussing in a civilized manner, of course, but something worth discussing, because I don't think it's something that is a clear answer to as to yes or no, is it good or bad. Now, as we are reaching the end of our journey today, it is time for the final assessment of today's trip, and this is something we will do in the following categories: departure airport, lounge, boarding, flight, and arrival airport. Now, the departure airport today was, of course, Munich Airport. Munich Airport is an excellent city. In fact, for me, it's probably one of the best airports that you can find out there in the world. And with as few people as there were today due to the strike, everything was even smoother as it would normally do. So, an excellent airport here. The lounge was also very good. That would be a lounge that normally would be very crowded. Today was nice and relaxed. So definitely a better score today than normally. The boarding itself went also very unproblematic. The flight, a little hiccup in the service, but other than that, also nice and smoothly. The rebooking, however, to that flight wasn't as unproblematic or smooth as you would think. It was a bit tricky. We got it done in the end, but it did take a little bit of time, and the website did not really work there, and then it was the hotline, and that worked out, and we got on the flight, so that was fine, but it wasn't as smooth the process of rebooking as you would have wished for. Arrival airport, Geneva Airport, it's an airport you can get quick out of if you get a position directly at the terminal. We were lucky enough to do that, or to get that today, so all in all, it has been a quite good flight. So that is why I can, with pleasure, give this a very, very good score of a 4.8. I think that is quite convincing for this flight. And with that, we have reached the end of this episode. Now, thank you very much for having stuck around so long. The video has gotten quite long again. But yeah, thank you very much for that. Thanks for traveling with me. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have so, feel free to leave a like, or if you're new around here, why not hit subscribe. And with that, I would like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.